The late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi did not have the right to appoint King Misuzulu Ka Zwelithini. This is according to the argument before court on behalf of Prince Simakade Ka Zwelithini to discuss the ongoing leadership conflict and battle for the throne of the AmaZulu nation. We are joined by Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, who's Professor of African Languages at UKZN and also commentator on isiZulu culture. Prof, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. A little bit earlier, we spoke to another traditional leader, and the thoughts shared there were it is unfortunate that you have traditional leadership squabbles playing out in the courts and not resolved through traditional processes. I think let's talk a little bit about what you make, firstly, of the fact that we see this battle playing out. Is it concerning to you that these battles are playing out in court and not through traditional structures?
Yes, good morning, Lady. I think it is paining, but at the same time, we must keep in mind that the monarch is a constitutional monarch. So cases of this nature should go to court because it is regulated by the act of government. So I think that's where the clash is. We have customary law, which should be taking its course, but due to some reasons, we still don't have cause for traditional, because this matter should have been taken to a traditional law court, not the one where we are at the moment. So there will always be a problem, because if you compare to other kingdoms, there is sovereignty of the king, but not here in South Africa.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we talk about what that would have looked like then, in terms of where you've got these leadership battles and you say, well, it should have gone into a traditional court process, what would that have looked like when there's a sense that without the Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation, that there becomes a bit of a vacancy there from elders, perhaps, that are able to lead the way?
I think that's where the traditional prime minister should come in, but unfortunately he is gone now to take his leadership role as the advisor to the king or to the monarch. But in this case, that cannot happen at this point in time, because this is a matter that should be dealt at the royal family level. The royal family should work out their differences and resolve this problem, because it affects the nation as a whole.
What do we say about succession planning from traditional leadership point of views? And I don't speak just about the AmaZulu nation. We've seen it multiple times with many other traditional groupings in the country, and the list really can go on. I think about the Rain Queen Mujaji and the leadership battles that are being faced by that princess and her family as well, right? I mean, do we really need to start rethinking what succession planning needs to be looking like for traditional leadership?
In this case of traditional leadership, there is no succession plan. You can't groom someone to become a king, because traditionally the one who is an heir is taken away from his homestead, so that he's kept away from the community until such time that there is a demise of the king. Then he'll be brought back. So this is common. What happens, the heir will be taken away. The funeral is not supposed to attend the funeral because he's going to be the king. The king, as people say, that he's born and is not elected. So that's why we can never have a succession plan.
If we then start to look at the lessons that we can learn from historical incidents, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that. I know that you are a historian yourself and really can speak to us about culturally, even within the AmaZulu nation, what would have been done in an instance like this, what had been done in cases where we did see leadership conflict and battles.
The role of the elders within the royal family will come in if there is a problem. Like in this case, if there is a problem with the behavior of the legitimate heir, then they will come in and try to make some means on how to resolve this, because by the fact of the tradition, it is dictated by how the heir is born, and if there are problems, they will try to resolve them as elders. I think that is what I said earlier, that the elders should play a significant role in resolving this problem.
Okay, and just to wrap things up, concerns that this might lead to disunity among the AmaZulu nation?
It has already have that, because we know that isiZulu is the leader of Amakhosi. The Zulu nation is made of different tribes, and he is the CEO and the leader of all the Amakhosi. So if there is a division within the royal house, then it affects the whole nation. So it is going to cause, definitely. There's no doubt about that.
Very concerning. Well, we'll be watching those processes very, very closely. Of course, we've got our reporters on the ground as well at the High Court in Pretoria watching that battle continue. Thank you so much to our guest, Professor Sihawukele Ngubane, Professor of African Languages at UKZN and commentator on isiZulu culture, speaking to us there via Teams.